So how do groomers brush, demat, bathe, dry, trim nails, and give a large goldendoodle a haircut in less than 3 hours? In this video, I will perform all those steps in less than 3 hours while you watch the clock and keep time. Can I do it? Let's get to it. Will Diesel look amazing in less than 3 hours, or will this be an epic fail? I've been grooming Diesel for years now. We keep his grooming schedule between 6 to 8 weeks, which accounts for part of the reason I think I can groom him in less than 3 hours. Or can I? As with any dog, we start with a pre-brush out, and the clock says it is 5 after 12. Diesel just got here. I got him up on the grooming table, and now we're brushing him out before we give him a bath so we can remove any dead hair that's in the coat, because we certainly don't want to wash dead hair. That is just not going to produce a healthy skin and coat. So we have to thoroughly brush him, and obviously on a time schedule. So we have to thoroughly brush him before we get him into the bath. If there's any mats, then this is the time to address that, which is pre-brushing, before the bath. We want to remove those mats. We'll use a dematting spray and our slicker brush and a comb to do that. Let's get Diesel into the bath so that we can start this process, guys. As you can see, Diesel is about a 90-pound goldendoodle, and this is going to take time. It is 10 after 12. Now, I am a professional groomer, and I use the Prima bathing system, which is fantastic. It definitely saves me product, time, and it cleans the dogs better than hand washing or any other bathing system on the market. But whether you're a professional groomer or you groom your dog yourself, never rush the bathing process. It is very, very important to get your dog clean before you can begin to clip them. Washing the face is very important. I like to use products that are safe around the eyes, nose, and mouth, but will definitely clean this area of your dog, because this area definitely gets really grimy. I am using a brand new product by Petology called Puppy Faces. It is fantastic. It is not on the market yet, but when it is, I will link it in the description below. Because Diesel is such a large dog, I know this groom is going to take a long time. The last thing I will do is rush through the bath. He needs to be clean or the haircut will never happen. Part of the bath is definitely conditioning your dog. Condition every dog that you groom as a pet groomer. So I'm mixing up some SCISSOR conditioner here, and I'm going to apply it with a loofah, because that way I can be sure to control where I apply the conditioner, which is definitely all over him. I want to make sure I get it in the pads of the feet and his undercarriage. Your conditioner rebalances the skin and coat. You can't just shampoo, because you're stripping everything off the coat. Even if you're using a wonderful, well-balanced pet shampoo, you have to condition too. We gotta put the moisture back in the coat. So there again, I'm not skipping steps, and I'm trying to get this dog done in 3 hours. And now that Diesel is completely cleaned and conditioned, we're gonna thoroughly rinse his coat. So we wanna rinse all the product off of Diesel's coat until the water runs clear. As you can see here, there's still conditioner rinsing off of his body. We wanna keep rinsing and keep rinsing. I mean everywhere, head, muzzle, ears, everything, until the water runs clear, or you'll be leaving product in your dog's coat, which will then cause it to mat up and cause the skin to become irritated. So how are we doing on time? It's 12:50 and Diesel is still soaking wet. Thank goodness us pet groomers have wonderful tools and equipment to help us get these jobs done in a timely manner. Not just for us, for the dog. A dog doesn't want to endure a grooming session longer than 3 hours. I mean, think about it. We use things such as absorber towels, force dryers, stand dryers, all of which to safely and effectively get the dogs dry after we bathe them, so that we can actually start beginning to give the dog a haircut. We haven't even started giving this dog a haircut yet, guys. You got to realize that. There's so much that goes into it before you can even trim a dog. So you may be thinking right now, well, I don't even understand why you have to dry the dog. Why can't I just go right from the tub, towel the dog off, and start trimming the hair? Guys, think about that, okay? When you pick your dog up from the groomer, his hair looks beautiful, nice and straight and fluffy. His coat feels aerated, right? Well, that's called professional grooming. This is producing a professional groom. Plus, by straightening out the hair and getting it all fluffy and silky and healthy before we trim it, is how we get that nice, precise hair trim on your dog. It's the secret. You gotta prepare the coat first. And not to mention, it's healthier for your dog's skin to not apply grooming techniques when the skin is wet. The skin is more vulnerable when it's wet. And also, trimming a wet dog is just hard on your tools. It's just gonna wreck your tools. So now you see he's dry and I'm getting a comb through this dog. If I couldn't get a comb through this dog, I would not be able to get a clipper or a guard comb. This is the perfectly prepared coat. Trimming the nails. Now it's time to trim the nails. The dog has been bathed, he's dry. This is when I trim the nails because they are a lot less brittle after the bath. Sometimes you will find that with the dog. You'll find that the nails are real brittle and they want to shatter when you trim them. So trimming the nails after the bath is definitely my procedure. This is what I have found to be the best thing to do. Now Diesel is finally ready to move on over to my scissor finishing table. This is where I'm going to do all the clipper work and all the scissor work. It's a bigger table. It gives me a bigger area to work with my tools. We've been working on Diesel for an hour and a half already, and now we're finally getting around to the haircut. Starting with the clipper work, I do all my clipper work before I even pick up a scissor. I do all my clipper work first. Everything that I'm going to be taking off on the body and the legs is with this zero comb. I'm using my hair vac system, which is a hand V hair vac system. I'll link it in the description below in case you're wondering what this contraption is on my clipper. But this keeps the hair from going all over my shop, and it keeps the hair from going in my lungs, you know, and Diesel's. This hair vac system also really shortens down my time when I'm doing my clipper work because it pulls the hair up nice and straight right into the clipper blade. So it gives me a very precise cut, as well as I don't have to go over the same areas many times with the hair vac system because it shortens the time of the groom. Now there are wider blades and wider guard combs that you can purchase, which I have a set on order right now that would be fantastic when grooming a dog like Diesel. He's a very large dog, so there's a lot of ground to cover when you're clipping Diesel. Those wider combs and wider blades are definitely going to save you time in your clipper work on a large breed like Diesel. I want to remind you guys at this point in the video, remember when I told you that we couldn't have gotten a guard comb or a clipper blade through Diesel without properly preparing his coat first with bathing, brushing, and drying? I want to remind you of that because some people believe their doodles only need to be trimmed twice a year, bringing in 8 inches of coat. Don't forget, that coat has to be brushed, bathed, and dried before we can get to this step. My rule as a professional groomer working with large doodles is if I don't groom your dog every 6 to 8 weeks, I'm not grooming your dog. So hopefully this video can help people understand why groomers demand 6 to 8 week schedules, especially for these large breeds. And another reason that groomers demand a 6 to 8 week schedule on these large breeds especially is because, as you can see in this video, I have not once picked this dog up. He got in the tub on his own. He got out of the tub on his own. He got on the drying table by himself without help. He got on the clipper table by himself without help. He's standing still. He's sitting still. He's being a good boy so I can trim him. If I had to hold him still or hold him up or keep him on the grooming table physically, I wouldn't be able to groom this dog. So as you see, dogs learn that grooming is part of their life, and they learn to accept it just fine as long as it's something that is a part of their life and it is not so seldomly done. Another one of my rules when it comes to working with very large breeds like Diesel here is if I don't get him in the grooming salon when he's no older than 3 months old, because they grow at such a rapid rate, that means I start my training with him on the grooming table in the tub at 3 months old. If I can't have a large breed at 3 months old or younger, I'm not going to be that dog's groomer. And that's my rule. Finding a good groomer these days seems to be kind of difficult. So if your groomer demands that your large dog comes in for their first groom by 3 months old, you'd be wise to take that advice or they're not going to groom your dog. And I'm telling you these things because I want to help you. I want to help you find the right groomer when your dog is at the age to be trained and learn how to work with a groomer. I want you to have success. And this goes for dogs that are large and don't get haircuts. Golden retrievers, they don't get a haircut. They still require a lot of grooming. It takes time, so get them in young. Are you guys watching the clock? We got less than an hour, but we haven't even picked up a scissor yet. Let's trim the sanitary areas. That's pads of feet, private areas, belly, and armpits. I'm using the Kenchi Flash 5 adjustable blade clipper. I have it set to a 30 blade. This has 5 different settings. That's why it's a 5-in-1. With a 30 blade only, we are going to trim the pads of feet. I never use a 30 blade anywhere else on the dog, guys. So gently, I'm just picking out the hair between the toes in that large pad, because believe it or not, your dog can get mats in the pads of their feet. You may not realize that. And if they have a mat in the pad of their foot, it would definitely feel like they are standing on a rock. So it's important to clean out the pads of the feet with a 30 blade, a 10 blade, or a 15 blade. Let's switch over to a 10 blade because now we're going to be trimming around the penis and the private areas, or the vulva if it's a girl dog. And this is a tender area, guys, and I only ever use a 10 blade. I will not use any other size blade in this area. A 10 blade is short enough but not too short, and it also isn't a longer blade where it has teeth that will catch the skin. And I'm barely applying any pressure at all to this blade. This clipper does a fantastic job of just grazing off the hair very nice and gently. It's important to clean up the sanitary areas because they can get little mats in here too, guys. So you can imagine how that would feel. Still with that 10 blade, we're going to trim around the anus. We're going to move away from the anus in all 4 directions, applying no pressure to the blade. You can definitely cause irritation in these sanitary areas, guys. The skin is very sensitive. We're just being very careful, and we're picking away that hair to keep them clean back here. It's 15 minutes after 2. We have 45 minutes left of our 3-hour timeline, guys. Are we going to make it? Let's finish it off with the scissor work. Your scissor work is what is going to tie this whole groom together, make it all look like it is just one complete, beautiful looking dog. There are so many different shears that I love to use. I'm using a chunker shear right now because of his coat type. It's an aggressive blending shear. And now we're going to switch on over to a curved shear where I'm going to blend down that clipper work from the top of his head into the shorter clipper work, which is down his neck and his body. These are my shears. These are Sapphire made by Kenchi. I'll link them below. They are absolutely wonderful. They have a micro serrated edge. They just grab that coat and they're very precise. Make sure that you know what you want to cut before you cut it because they are very precise. I have probably a collection of shears that totals up to be about, it has to be close to $6,000–7,000. And I know groomers that have much larger shear collections than that. And the different types of shears, whether they're blending, straight, or curved, they just help you achieve the perfect groom with accuracy and speed. So it is important to use good shears, and you will notice that groomers do. We do put a lot of money into our products, tools, and equipment, guys, and that is all to provide the best quality grooming experience for your dog as we possibly can. The shears that we use as professional groomers, or if you're a home groomer, your shears are what is going to take your grooms to a new level. So having good shears that are going to maintain sharp edges is going to, give you that accuracy that you're looking for. It is what makes your grooms flawless. I use a lot of different blending shears on one single groom, on one dog. This is my chunker shear. I'll use a very nice blending shear that has less teeth that will do more of a blending versus just removing a lot of coat. And all this is just to smooth out my clipper work. That's what I consider finishing work, tying the groom together with your clipper work. And this is where it becomes an art. And this is where groomers really get lost in their work. It is therapeutic for us. And I really believe that it is for the dog too, because typically when we're doing our scissor work, that's when the dogs are chill. Another thing that groomers have to be very good at is what they're doing with their other hand. Look at my other hand here, kind of tilting out his elbow a little so I can get in there and safely, gently trim. It's just, I'm telling you, grooming is a skill. For your groomer to be able to groom your large golden doodle like Diesel here in less than 3 hours, that's amazing. It truly is amazing. Before we look at the clock, the last thing we're going to do here is just add a little bit of conditioning spray back into Diesel before we send him home, just to make sure that his skin and coat is feeling very nourished right now. And it is. He looks amazing and he feels amazing, and I guarantee you he's going to be tired. He's been working for 3 hours straight, just like I have. I'm very tired too, but it's worth it. It's worth it working with these beautiful animals and building the relationships between the animal and the groomer. There's nothing like it. Did we make our 3-hour groom on Diesel? Well, actually, we groomed him in 2 hours and 45 minutes. I say we did pretty awesome. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Amy Lee. I am a certified professional pet groomer since 2003. I am also a content creator on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel called Go Groomer, and on that channel, I bring a new voice to the pet grooming industry, one that includes pet owners as a valuable consumer. By sharing my secrets of the pet grooming industry on my YouTube channel, it allows me to give pet owners the opportunity to provide quality care for their beloved pets at home, increasing value to their pets' lives, as well as increasing the bond they share with their pet. It's pretty awesome.